Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to Devils United, back with a second show of the day, and we're back with another player profile show, talking about Shola Shoretire at Bolton. I've got Angela. How are you doing, Angela?
I'm good, thank you. Thanks for having me.
It's really appreciated. Thank you so much for taking the time to come on as well. Really, I really appreciate you coming on.
No problem.
We'll say hello to people in the chat and then we'll get talking about Shoretire. Hey there, Ravi. Thanks for coming in. Hope you are well. Ravi has put the link in the chat for your channel, Angela, as well. I've also put in description too. Hey there, Reese. Thanks for coming in. Hope you are well. Just as you said, hit the like, share, subscribe. Chris, who's in the chat, bigging you up here, Angela. Hey there, Chris. Thank you for coming into the channel. Thank you. Hey there, Daz. I'm well, thank you. Hope you are well too. And hey there to our number. Thanks for coming in. Hope you are well. So we'll talk about Shoretire, his loan spell. Just wanted to ask on how his loan spell was at Bolton, because he came for half a season, didn't he, if I'm not mistaken?
Yeah, January transfer window he came. So we had seen him in the group stage with Papa John's. He played for United's under 21s in that group stage, and I think we remembered him. So quite often when we get Premiership under 21 loanees, you're a bit, I don't know anything about this kid whatsoever. But because we'd seen him playing against us, and I think he was one of the players that did better, a few of us did remember him. Do you want me to just spiel, or do you want me to do it?
Just spill as much as you like.
I think he started really well. He had a really good game against a televised match against Charlton. He played the first half and had a really, really good game. And I think we all got a little bit excited. But then went off at half time with a back niggle. And I think, to be honest, it's the physicality of League One. So a lot of players who come through Premiership youth ranks are beautiful footballers, technically brilliant. But when it comes to playing men's football in League One Championship, it's not the same, and it's really physical. You've got some big, big lads out there who are knocking them about, and there's no space. They come to, most of the teams that play Bolton come with a really low block, and you're just not getting through. There's no tricks and trickery that can get through those low blocks. So I think we saw some really good spells of what he could do, but I think he probably didn't have as good of a loan as he would have liked.
Mm-hmm. Do you think, personally for you, do you think, I can see like Colin here has mentioned in the chat, thank you for coming in, Colin, that you can see Shoretire getting another loan, but probably abroad. Do you think that's probably the best step for him? And if so, where abroad do you think he would develop the best?
Yeah, no, Colin is a fellow fans on podder. Thanks for coming on, Cal. It's a good shout, that, Colin. I was kind of thinking maybe League One again might make or break him. He's the sort of player that might take a nasty one and then really struggle to recover from it. But then it might strengthen him. So I was thinking lower Championship, even mid to upper League One. But maybe European football would suit him better because the playing style over there, it's not quite as physical. I think anywhere, really. I think if you went and played in Spain somewhere or Germany, but I don't know a huge amount about that level of football to know where he'd fit. Colin might, but but I'm not sure. Did you have anywhere in mind, Colin?
We'll see what Colin says. Hey there, Paul. Thanks for coming in. Hope you are well. And hey there, Man Latata. Thanks for coming in. Hope you are well. Yeah, so what position is best as well for Shoretire? Because when he came on as a substitute, he looked like, for Man United, he looks like he played on the wide areas. But I've always seen that he looks better in the middle, more as a number 10 type of role.
So we played him as a 10. We're really lacking in that 10 role at the minute. We've struggled with a little bit of midfield injury. And I think that's what, when he did his kind of welcome video, he said he prefers to anywhere in the top half of the pitch, he's happy, and he'll play wherever. So I think we tried to kind of play him in that number 10, but he just wasn't physical enough for it. He played, I think when he played against Charlton, he was just behind our main striker, and I think that's why, because he wasn't quite in the middle, he had a better game. He's not, I don't think, we didn't see him on the wing at all, if memory serves. I think he might have drifted out occasionally, but he was certainly more in the middle of the park, but he didn't have the time or the space on the ball, which I think he probably has at that academy kind of under 21 level.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I understand that. Colin said, given his age, he's still got time on his hands. And move somewhere like Belgium or France would work. Belgium's quite a good shout because we do see a lot of players developing very well at Belgium itself. So, I know you mentioned Charlton. So, would you probably say that was his best game, probably in a Bolton shirt?
I think so. Yeah, I was genuinely quite excited to see what he could bring with at that match. But then obviously, I mean, it was televised as well, so I don't know. Sometimes that spurs people on, spurs players on a little bit when it's on Sky Sports. But I think when we spoke about it on our pod, I think we agreed that Charlton was probably his best match, and then he took a bit of a knock. Then he struggled a little bit to find form, and I think we had a couple of players who increased their form, and he just didn't get as much game time as he would have wanted. Obviously, he was cup tied for the Papa John's matches, so we couldn't play any of those either. But yeah, I for me, his best match for us was that first half against Charlton. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Hey there to my dad. Thanks for coming in. Hope you are well. Yeah. We've already spoke about physicality. That's probably his weakness by hearing it. What would you say was probably his strengths from his time at Bolton?
You can certainly see these come through a really good academy. You can tell he's a technically gifted footballer. I think his decision making is really good. You can tell he's got an eye for the ball and an eye for the what players coming next. He doesn't seem to think too much. He's like an instinctive player. Yeah, I just don't think that league did him any favours. I don't think he could play the way he wanted to play. A lot of our players can't play. We can't play the way we want to play against a lot of teams. So I think he did. I think he got frustrated quite a bit, to be honest, because he couldn't do what he knows he can do.
Yeah, I completely understand that. Would you say probably it may have been more beneficial, for instance, having probably the season long loan, because he would have had a bit more time to adapt them to the squad?
Maybe, yeah, maybe. Like I was saying to you before we came on, Maisy, we had 5 Premiership loanees on the books last year, so there was quite a bit of competition in that area. And I think you always, regardless of what position they play, what club they've come from, you kind of do measure up how successful a loan spell's been against the other loanees. So he was just really unfortunate to be pitched against James Trafford and Conor Bradley, who had outstanding seasons for us. And obviously Traff's he's the under-21 England goalkeeper, just had another clean sheet against Germany. And then Conor Bradley's in the Northern Ireland first team squad. So it was a really, although it was probably a really nice group for him to be with, because he had other players on a similar journey as him. I think it probably was a bit frustrating for him.
Yeah, I understand that, and I think for me is I said to you backstage as well, what I thought was a bit concerning is that I've never seen anyone go out and ask for him on loan before Bolton requested for him on loan, because as I said, Ahmad's had several people wanting him on loan, and James Garner's had a few loan spells. Chong had a few loan spells before he did leave permanently from Manchester United, and I just think Shoretire, he did come into the first team pretty early. I'd say probably much too early for his kind of development years, because I think he come probably about 16, 17. He was still very, very young when he did make his debut. Maybe that may have done no favours for him in general, but um, I think that for me was something kind of a bit concerning that nobody has requested for him before.
Yeah. I mean, he's 19 now, isn't he? So
yeah.
You'd have thought he'd have had at least another loan spell, or at least a request for a loan. I'm not too sure even whether it was the Papa John's match that's how we spotted him, or whether it's we've got Chris Markham, who does a lot of player profiling from statistics and things. So I'm not sure whether it was scouted, it was a player profile, or whether it was literally seeing him play against us, and that's how we ended up with him. I'm not sure. I can't remember. I don't know if Colin or Chris remembers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Colin has said his confidence was affected very quickly. If he wasn't getting the rub of the green, he would get frustrated. I think he'll probably thought he would play more and it would be easier than it was.
Yeah, and it's a fair comment, and I think a lot of players who are coming from Premiership Academy or youth teams probably think that they're going to have an easy ride, and it's a tough league. It's brutal. It's really, really physical. You're fighting, you're scrapping against, or you're trying to earn your place against seasoned pros who've got a lot of experience. So it's by no means an easy loan to League One. Not at all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. It is very, very physical, and I think for me, especially with the amount of league games it is, you're playing constantly. You're playing easily twice a week, every single week anyway. And especially this season in League One, there's been plenty of competition where I'm sure Plymouth got over 100 points this year. So that just really shows the level of competition.
Yeah, we were. I think there was 1 week I think we managed to squeeze a third game in. It was a tough season. Obviously, that extra run in the Papa John's, even though Shola couldn't play, might have meant he didn't get quite as rough a deal as some of them did, and probably wanted to play, to be honest, because that's why they're in the game, aren't they? They always want to be playing. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's Tuesday, Saturday most weeks, and then occasionally we got an international break because we've got a few Northern Ireland internationals that were called up, so we did have that international break, but then it just shoehorned it into another week. So I think that's where we ended up with our 3 in 1 week, and it's tough. It's a really tough league.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. It is a very tough league, and you do hear a lot of fans saying as well, like it's very hard to get out of the league as well.
It's our third season of trying, but yeah, I think it took Sunderland 5, did it? 3 or 5? It took them a while. Yeah, because there's about 5 or 6 teams up there every season that are probably too big for the league. Just fell on hard times. That's my excuse for Bolton. And yeah, it's a really tough competition up at the top. I think Sheffield Wednesday finished third, and they on 98 points or something.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a real scrap towards the end. It makes for really good viewing, and it's really exciting, but it's a tad stressful as well.
Yeah, I was just literally looking at the table as you were just saying it. Like Plymouth finished on 101 points, Ipswich finished on 98 points, Sheffield Wednesday 96, and then Barnsley finished on 86, and Bolton finished on 5th with 81 points, which is a fantastic amount of points as well. You've had the fourth. You're with losses. You're one of the best in terms of losing the least games. Yeah. I didn't know how to word that, but yeah.
I know what you mean, Miss.
But yeah, it does look a very, very competitive league. I think all leagues this season has been very competitive, and I don't know what it is about League One, but I just think there's a lot of teams where I feel like when you expect them to perform, they really underperform.
Oh God, that was us. I think we lost against Forest Green towards the beginning of the season, and then we went to Sheffield Wednesday away, and they'd been after in February, March it was, and they'd been on this 26 game unbeaten streak, and we managed to pull a draw. And that's why we love football, isn't it? You can never guess what's going to happen. But yeah, we dropped some points this last season that we absolutely should not have dropped, and we had some pretty big injuries, some big long-term injuries, which didn't do us any favours whatsoever. But yeah.
Yeah, it's understandable though with the amount of the injuries, with the amount of games you're playing, and on top of that, you've got the Papa Johns because you went all the way to the final. There's still the other cup competitions that you're being like, I'm the FA Cup too. So it's very, very tight as well as doing the league. You've got all the other cup competitions taken consideration.
Yeah, we didn't do too well in the other two. We got to round two. We played Villa in the second round, I think, of the League Cup and got knocked out. But yeah, no, we regardless, it's 40 games or whatever it is, 40 something games, and it's intense. It's crappy pitches as well. So obviously you watch Premiership football and they're like lawns. we go away to Burton on a Tuesday night in February, and it's like running through a bog. It's not easy on their legs, I'm sure.
Yeah, I do see some of the pitches, because some of the pitches for League One and League Two, that's where some of the WSL teams play for as well. They play on League One, League Two pitches, because Aston Villa play on Walsall's pitch, and Walsall's pitch is not entirely great, I would personally say.
To put it politely.
Yeah, to put it politely. Colin said, I don't think he'll make it at Old Trafford. Personally, for me, I do genuinely agree, based off things I've seen, for sure.
Yeah, no, I agree. I don't think. I think he's a gifted lad, but I don't think he's gonna be with you. I don't think he'll make it. Certainly not.
Mm-hmm.
Not the first team.
The thing is, though, especially when you look at Man United, they've got so much competition in all different positions, and it's very. You're not gonna. I've always said this. I say it every single time. You're not gonna see another class of '92. You ever again. So you're gonna look. I think sometimes what a problem is, I do say we sometimes probably overhype the youth to think they are gonna be another class of '92 because we've had it. But you look at it now, it's only like 1% of that youth academy that generally does come through and make it.
Yeah, there's so much competition for those places in that academy as well. They take a decent number of them in, and if you think a quarter of them might actually make it, and they're not going to be staying where they are, they're going to be off to other clubs and other leagues. And I mean, they've had a really good grounding and a really good training coming through those ranks, and you can't knock that. But yeah, they're not gonna. He's not gonna make it. He's not gonna play for United, I don't think, at a senior level. No.
Mm-hmm. No, I don't believe so either, to be honest. So let's have a see as well. Hey there, Sean. Thanks for coming in. Hope you are well. Hey there, Ian. Thank you for coming in. Daisy, do you ever move from the chair? Cheeky, Ian. Very, very cheeky from you. Hey there, Doug. Thank you for coming in. I hope you are well. Colin, I completely agree with this comment as well. The sheer embarrassment of riches you lot have means he won't cut it. I agree with that comment as well. I think with the squad how we are, because we put too much money into it, it does limit a lot of academies players' chances too.
Yeah, and if you've got money, you're going to spend it on players because you want trophies in cabinet. So you haven't got the time to wait for those academy kids to come through and fully develop, unfortunately. But it's the way it is. It's a business, isn't it?
Exactly. Would you, like, I'm just going to go off a little bit off subject here, but because I don't know how much you've seen of the United's academy. Would you take anyone else from the academy looking at all of United?
I have no idea. So obviously, like I say, we played them in the group stages of the Papa Johns, and Shola was about the only one who stood out to me. I don't know if Colin or Chris can remember. Although it was Colin, is that one of your ones you forfeit because it's against under 21s? Colin doesn't believe in the format of the Papa John's group stage.
Was it like the Papa John's? Because I know there's obviously some under 21s because I've seen the groups already because with the under 21s for United in the same group as Bolton for next season as well, alongside Stockport and
Salford. Yeah.
So it's a very Greater Manchester.
It's a very Greater Manchester group, yeah.
Was it like the actual formation then at the Papa John's? Because I know there's groups and then...
It's very contentious, Maisy. So a lot of people, and probably to an extent I don't agree with the fact that we invite under 21 Premier League clubs to play in those rounds. I think I understand why, but I don't think it's needed. Obviously, it's a competition for League 1 and 2 to earn a bit of money and have a nice day out for the fans. And I think it riles some people that it kind of devalues the competition that we've got under 21s playing against what should be full strength League 1 and 2 teams. That's just the feeling of some people. I kind of agree to an extent, but I don't mind. I still go. I don't mind. It's nice to watch. Sometimes we can play a slightly weaker team, which we tend to with the unders. But yeah, I think there's some people who certainly don't agree with the format.
I agree with what you mean though with the format, because I said the same with the Carabao Cup. I said any team that's in Europe shouldn't really be in that Carabao Cup. I know we won it last year. I'm happy with the cup, but the thing is I like to see underdogs win
someone
a
else,
trophy.
yeah,
someone else. And it's very. You haven't seen Aston Villa lift a trophy for a long time. I know we've seen Leicester win the FA Cup recently, but you want to be see a Nottingham Forest, or you want to see a Wigan, or you want to see a.
No, we don't see a Wigan.
Well, yeah, they're your rival, aren't they? But I understand, not Wigan for you, but. But you want to definitely see something different for sure, and I think I can see why they put the unders in the Papa John's, because then I guess you kind of see where the development's at, where they really are in terms of as a player. But yeah, I do agree it should be there for someone different to win a trophy. Yeah,
but like you say, I absolutely see why, because it is a good tester. It's a good marker for those younger teams to see where they're at. It's also a chance for them to show off and maybe get a loan out of it, which is why I see happen with Shola. So yeah, it's a bit of a double-edged. There's people who really strongly disagree with that format. I'm not quite so strong, but I don't think it's needed. I think it does slightly devalue the competition. Not that they tend to go on and win it, but you never know.
Well, yeah, if they did win it would be quite surprising. I'm sure, if I'm not mistaken, they didn't use better around this last year as well.
Yeah, I think it was 4-0 or something, wasn't it? It might have even been more than that. It was a big one. It was freezing. Yeah. It was the coldest day I was freezing. But yeah, we did put quite a few past them. But then is that knocking their confidence? I don't know. You can look at it from so many angles, can't you?
Yeah, exactly. There is a few questions for you in the chat, Angela. I'm going to do one person at a time so everyone has a fair share of questions.
Be nice.
They're all very nice. Don't worry about that. question from Rather. What formation got the best out of Shoretire?
Well, we didn't really. We play the same formation. We kind of play 3-5-2-ish. So he does well up the top of the pitch. He does really well. I think when we stick him too far in the middle, he gets too boxed in and he can't get out. So, like I said, that game against Charlton, he was slightly forward, just behind Dion. So I think that got the best out of him.
Yeah, I understand. Hey there, Niall. Thanks for coming in. Hope you are well. My dad has asked, would you have him back on loan?
I would, I think it would have been better if we were going to get him on loan. He'd have had a pre-season with us, because I think that always we've had a few signings that came in January that haven't quite hit the ground running. For us, January is normally our best transfer window, and the last season it was a bit disappointing. But I think a lot of that's to do with some of the players we played had been injured beginning of the season and not played or gone out of favour at the clubs they were in, so weren't getting much match time. And I'm hoping that them being on pre-season now will get to see what Ian saw in him and why he signed him. And I think that's a really important part of when you've got a loanee as well, that they've got that chance to kind of gel and that no pressure kind of training environment, and that getting to know how the team plays. I think it's all just as important. It's even more important when you're a lone player, because it's not your home, is it?
No, yeah, I agree with what you're saying, and I think it's the same for a manager and a player. You do need to gel with the squad, and I always say, like, you've got to wait 8 to 12 weeks kind of thing for a player where you can really see the very best out of him, and that's why I think pre-season is a good place for a player to have, and I think Shoretire was probably maybe robbed from that, and that was just maybe one of the only problems.
Yeah, it's not a great position to be in especially when you're young, to be on a loan. Even though we're only down the road, it's not like you have to up sticks and move. But yeah, I think that kind of being part of the team as much as playing in a team is massive and really important. But yeah, I would take him. I would. I'd take him if he was a bit more of a squad player, and we weren't so really relying on him, I think.
Colin, though, he said that he wouldn't have him back. He said we need to push on now and sign a player that in that 10 role who can hit the ground running. Massive season for Bolton Wanderers.
Yeah, we do. We need, like I said, they tried him in that 10 and it didn't work. He's just not strong enough for it. But I don't know. You never know, do you? I don't think he will. I think from what he'd said, from what Ian Evatt had said after the loan spell had ended, it felt to me like it was probably a closed door, that one.
Yeah. Reese has asked a question. Go back in time and watch JJ with Ivan Campo under Big Sam at the Reebok, or Bolton return to the Premier League in this decade.
We always look forward. I've already seen JJ and Campo under Big Sam, so I would love us to return to the Premier League, because we've kind of been reborn a bit. We've got new ownership and management, and it's a really nice club to support. We feel really looked after, part of a community. They're really engaging with us as supporters, and I think having that and being able to hopefully work our way back up to, I take Championship. I take being a higher Championship side, because as somebody who I watch a fair amount of football. The atmosphere, I think, sometimes is much better in the lower leagues, because the stadiums are much smaller and it's and older, and the atmosphere is lovely, or intimidating, or really loud. So I have a 13-year-old boy, so I would love him to see us in the Premier League.
Yeah, you've got to pick the Premier League, don't you? I know history's there and things, and I think it's a shame as well for a lot of teams like who have been in the Premier League and no longer there. Like you think of, for instance, Wimbledon for one. Like they was in the Premier League quite early on, and Charlton another one. So I think Blackpool is another one who's recently got relegated. You see so many teams who were there, but then you get quite. It's a bit of a shame when you see the positions where they are at the moment. Another good one, Oldham Athletic as well.
Oh yeah, they've had a bit of a bad do, haven't they?
Yeah, which is a shame. Nyla's asked, who's Bolton's main rivals? Is it not Preston North End, who they hate, or is it mostly Wigan?
I think because of where we've been in the last couple of seasons, and certainly from the younger generation, it's definitely Wigan. I think just the whole, there's an awful toxic fan relationship between us and Wigan. I think the slightly older generation, like myself and Colin, like and Chris, who's on the call as well. I think like it was Blackburn and Preston and Burnley, but then now not so much, which is a shame. And maybe it will be one day, and it won't be them down the road.
Yeah, and yeah, there has. I'm trying to think of other Greater Manchester clubs as well, because there's obviously Wigan, Bolton, City United, Oldham, Rochdale as well. Would you probably class Oldham, Rochdale as maybe a rival too? No.
No, we don't really. I mean, I think Stockport have some sort of rivalry with us. Yes, we don't see it from our way to theirs, but there was a little bit of rivalry after a cup game last season.
Well, Stockport for you sound like a Newcastle to us.
Our captain went to play for them as well, so yeah.
Oh, that's not good then.
We don't know why. They don't talk about it.
Understandable. Hey there, Static. Thanks for coming in. Hope you are well. Another question I'll do from my dad is, who's your all-time favourite Bolton player?
Super John McGinley. Still a club legend, still doing bits behind the scenes at the club. He's the first player I ever had on the back of a shirt. Yeah, big time for me. Big Super John fan.
Mm-hmm. And we've got to ask this big question, of course. What's the best Bolton Wanderers podcast?
Benjamin, is that you? It's definitely not Trotter Chatter. So, of course, the Fan Zone. Feel free to tune in if you want to learn anything about Bolton. We do occasionally have players on, and we do have some staff behind the scenes type interviews. We've had David Wheater on, who's a ledge. I think he's probably, some of the older viewers might remember him from having Ronaldo in his pocket on his debut. Of course it's us. Thanks, Benjamin. Great question.
Great question indeed. And yeah, I agree. Definitely the best Bolton Wanderers channel about for sure. Hey there, Andrew. Thanks for coming in. Hope you are well. Andrew said Upper the Swansea Football Club. We've got a lot of different fans. Doug has asked, a player rated highly is Connor Bradley. How was he last season on loan at Bolton?
Outstanding young man. He absolutely swept the board at the end of season's award. I think he got fans player, players player. That he's gonna be a really special boy. And gutted that we're probably not gonna get him on loan again. But yeah, he's one to watch, definitely. He's came from Liverpool. Like I said a bit earlier, he's had caps for Northern Ireland now. Started most of the international matches. Really good. Watch him. Next Northern Ireland match, get him watched.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'll watch it out for sure, and I'm sure Doug, because he's a Liverpool fan himself, so he'd be
Doug. Yeah, brilliant. You've got a good one on your hands there. He'll definitely make you money if he doesn't play for you anyway.
Mm-hmm. Do you think he could play for Liverpool?
Yes.
Eventually.
Yes. He's a definite for me, yeah. He's a special boy, really good ethic, really hard worker, and super talented, so fast, really talented. We literally fell in love with him. Him and James Trafford last season, you don't fall in love with a lone player. We absolutely fell hook, line and sinker for those two boys.
Yeah. They always say, don't they, never fall in love with a lone player, but
it's impossible.
Obviously people who do, don't you?
I always do. Always.
Colin said Man United might want to go and sign James Trafford, but he plays for Man City. Well, after who we've took a recent City Academy player, I don't know how that will go. We'll finish off with a final question from Ravi on which players did Shola link up well with at Bolton?
I think probably he's probably had his best relationship was with Dion, who's our top man. But like I say, he probably didn't really build many on the pitch relationships because he was a bit in and out of the side, or he was coming on as a sub or going off. So I don't think he had the chance to build that kind of player relationship like he probably wanted to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's understandable then. Yeah, with that, we will wrap it up. Thank you so much for taking the time, Angela. I really appreciate it.
No problems. It's been fun. Thanks for having me.
You're very welcome. Would you like to tell everyone about the channel the channel that you do as well? I know you slightly touched on it, but but yeah. Would you like to talk a little bit about that? Shout it out as well. Put the link in the description and tag the channel as well for people to subscribe.
Yeah. So the Fan Zone podcast is a Bolton Wanderers pod. I'm a quarter of it. We've also got Ben and Colin and Chris. We do pretty much focus on all things Bolton, but we do the odd kind of what we call extraordinary pods where we'll have an ex-player on and we might talk about their time with other clubs or so yeah, stick it in you. Go and have a look. We're on YouTube, we're on Spotify, we're on Twitter, we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram. We're on them all. We're on, what else are we on? Apple something pods. Ben does this bit normally. So we're on all the major places you can get your podcast for. So there's some old episodes on there, including obviously the one where after we won the Papa John's, which was a nice one. Yeah, go and give us a like and watch us, subscribe if you want to learn a bit more about League One football.
Fantastic. You've gained definitely 3 subscribers anyway from Reese, Niall and Ian as well. So 3 more subscribers up, which is great.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
You're very welcome. I've already subscribed as well. So everyone subscribe over to Angela's channel. All the details is in the description as well. And hit the like, subscribe button over to this channel if you're new. Thank you very, very much, Angela, for coming on. Really appreciate it. And thank you for everyone who's watched. Have a lovely evening, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.